Hello.
Hi. How is everyone?
Happy Thursday. It's almost Friday, and we're here
Here we are.
to drop some knowledge.
That's right. I'm excited. We have an awesome topic.
Normally, how we do it, as we talk about, we start the auction. Jeez, we start the talk off with our highs and our lows, or mostly highs or mostly lows, of the week of our reselling. We usually go over things that sold, give you some bolos, give you some tips, tricks, and whatever, until we start having a few more people roll in.
Mhm.
And yeah, who went first last time?
I think you did. Let me see if I didn't really see. So let's see. I had a couple. Okay, so I think that was last week's. I'll do this one because it's funny. It's not like the best sale ever. But you know the shirt I was wearing maybe last week with all the animals on it?
Yes, loved that shirt.
I found a shirt by the same company. It's the same theme, but it was a raccoon.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's like that tie-dye-ish with just a giant raccoon face. It sold for $20 on eBay. And so I was like, I'll take it. Like, I picked it up because it was the same as my favorite shirt. Not any like major bolo by any means, but
it's a good point, because right now that kind of stuff is trending. Like just so gnarly that it's like wicked, majestic, cool, that kind of stuff.
Yes, it's wicked majestic. It's like the perfect way of putting that.
Yes.
And then probably my favorite sale. I mean, I did have some good clothing items in like the 30s and stuff, but I was excited about this one today. I posted on Instagram. Was a like vintage bottle of this like the VO5 conditioner. It sold for $25, which was full price on Poshmark. They didn't even send an offer or anything. And it was from legit the 90s. I don't think they make this scent anymore. So that was nice. Hair Mango Passion. Yeah.
So for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm primarily a jewelry reseller and maybe some vintage bric-a-brac, tchotchkes, what have you. I deal primarily in jewelry reselling. And I think the yin to my yang would be Kelly over here. You primarily do clothes and wearable with some hard goods as well. And you're dibble-dabbling into cosmetic items such as that conditioner. So I really feel like this is an awesome series, because I feel like we try to cover at least all the bases.
Yeah, for sure. No, we do. We cover a lot of things. I want to get more into the hard good collectible items. So that would be really fun. Yeah. Anyway, those were my two interesting, fun sales.
Okay, so
what do you got?
What I have here is I sold this one I couldn't believe it. I picked this up at a thrift store for $6. It is a vintage pencil sharpener.
Oh, yes, your pencil sharpener.
So I sold it. I sold it for $22.
Nice.
Free shipping. But it was like $5 to ship. It was a Boston pencil sharpener, so it is kind of one of those ones they look out for. And it was just a lot of fun. So there's that one.
That's really a unique item too. That's cool.
And we talked briefly about what we do is we try to challenge each other at the end of the segment, and we talk about things, how we can improve our reselling careers. And this week, I took the time to try and list and reshare my Poshmark store. So with that being said, I did get some straight out purchases. One happened to be from Mercari, and I had it on there for just a couple of days, actually. And it's something to consider. This was a Chinese porcelain trinket box.
Ooh, and it looks like a fun shape.
It is definitely a fun shape. It is signed on the inside there. And there's that. So this sold outright for $25. The buyer paid shipping.
Oh, that's awesome. Are you nervous ever shipping stuff like that? Like,
yes. Of course. I just bubble wrap the dickens out of it.
Yeah. I get so scared.
I've shipped a few things and they just exploded. You never know about vintage items, and you never know, no matter how much you bubble wrap it, what's going to happen in the post. You could put fragile all over that box.
They're going to punt it down the street. Like, you just
big 10-4.
Don't know. Yeah.
So today we're talking about listing. We've gone over sourcing, the tools you need to sourcing, where we go. Now today we're going to talk about, and this may have to turn into a couple episode segment, because listing. We could talk about this for 2 weeks.
For real. Yeah, all day long for 2 weeks.
So I cross post, and we could talk about cross posting. That's another really awesome.
Yeah, that's a whole separate
blowing thing. I start on Etsy. Basically, that's where I start, and then I cross post all my other. And I do eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark. I do sell on YouTube occasionally, and then invoice through PayPal. Where do you sell?
So I start everything on eBay, and then list to Poshmark and Mercari, and I have like 10 items on Etsy. I need to get better. I try. I did have some items on Kitizen, but I did not like it. It wasn't my vibe. Like, and also List Perfectly would often glitch when cross-posting to Kitizen.
Interesting.
It just like wouldn't do it. Like, it wouldn't work the right way, and I could never get it over. And like, if it's going to be that hard for me to list, and I'm going to have to take down the pictures, and if List Perfectly doesn't do it, then I'm not going to do it.
Right. Yes. I rely so much on List Perfectly to transfer over that I feel like devastated when it doesn't work out on the other thing. I don't want to put the same thing again.
No.
Like, toss your computer, punch it. Like,
don't do this to me. Yeah. So I gave that up. I've sold one thing on Tradesy, which is a more obscure, or not obscure, niche market, I guess. It's more like, it's supposed to be like more luxury items, I suppose, I think.
That's the one that you were talking about with your Jordans?
No, I also sell there, which is, I didn't even think of because I don't physically hold that inventory. The Real, which is a online consignment store. It works pretty much identically to ThreadUp, but they only take certain brands. So they're supposed to be more high-end brands, but they also take some things that surprised me, like the North Face, Patagonia. I'm trying to think of like.
But I would consider those high-end because they sell at Nordstrom and stuff like Macy's and stuff. So
True. They are like, they're not to like bash those brands. Those are great brands.
Right.
When you go to like the Real website, you're seeing like Gucci and Chanel and stuff like that, where I'm like, I'm never finding that at a thrift store.
Let's pull this up. Real shopping. When I pulled up Real, it said Real massage chair. So that sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
It's therealreal.com.
Here it is.
And I'm loving it.
So I can't feasibly pull up the site because I have to sign up first.
Oh, do you want me to?
Yeah, pull it up.
We can.
Let's share with the children. I love that.
We
That
can
way,
too. It's nice. I've sold a few things, and we can see like how much I've made on them and stuff because I just sent stuff in January for the first time. So it is a new, like it's only February 4th. So like I'm not any sort of expert, but what I love so much is that share. Okay. What I love so much is that you get more commission over time. Okay, so here is their website. You can see it, yeah?
yes.
Okay, so, you see like, I don't know. It's like, it just comes across as like very high-endy that I'm like, when I sign in or on the app, it's always like, Louis Vuitton is selling now and all of these like Burberry. I'm not finding this stuff, at all. And some of the brands I've like never even heard of, but they have a huge, ginormous list that they update. I think it's like once a month or so. So they do take jewelry too. So keep that in mind. And they also take like home decor, art, I guess. I don't know, like wall art, I guess, and some kids' clothes, probably in similar brands. But I guess these are artists or something, but here's all your designers for the clothing. And it's like, we could go on for days. And most of these I've never heard of at all. But they're all supposed to be, higher end. And let's pull up let's just go home.
Tanner David asked a question: is a raw diamond worth buying? Tanner, very excellent question. I guess it would depend on how big the cut is of the diamond. It would depend on if you're going to have it set. So I guess it just depends on a whole bunch of things. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. However, I'm not a jeweler per se, so keep that in mind.
Okay, how do you price? How much do I earn? Okay, so here's our like commission chart too. So it depends on your tier within how much you've sold. So I'm in the insider tier. I'm brand new and I sold between $0 and $1,500. That's sales price. So you'll earn 55%, but you can, move up and then start earning more money, 70%, 60%. But then it also depends on what the item is and how they price it. So even though I'm in this insider, which is 55%, most of my items are actually 40 or 50 because of their list price. So it's a little confusing. But here's the men's sneakers that I was Jordan. So you can get 80% if they list them about $200. So I'm thinking of sending them in there, but yeah. So let me just pull this up real quick because it's kind of interesting.
Walmart brand there by chance?
So yeah, I have, I've made $282 in my like actual money that will be sent to me on the 15th. And I've sold a wide variety of things that aren't like all super high end, but just things I've found in thrift stores or got on YouTube auctions. But most of these are thrift store items. So you can kind of see what they price things for and then like what I made on this side. So they sell super fast too. So if you guys have any higher end items, consider looking them up. They price to sell their items. So just
fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Wowzers.
So I guess I also sell there, I guess.
I spotted it. Well, that's absolutely insane. That's kind of like in a sense when you're an Amazon filled merchant fulfillment by Amazon.
Yeah, FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. Yeah.
So that would be similar in a sense that you would have to send in your items, but I do believe you have to reach a certain cap to have your items be that way. I don't really know too much about that. I thought something or other with Amazon for them to.
Anybody can have their items be fulfilled by Amazon. It's just a like rate, like a commission, like a platform fee. It's just going to be higher because they handle your shipping, obviously, because you're sending them in, and they also, what was I going to say? Also handle the customer service, which is cool. So like returns and annoying complaints or whatever.
That in itself is half the battle and a whole nother episode, to be honest with you as well. Yeah. So we've talked about what we do to maximize, taking pictures, making sure we have our measurements, going along those lines. How we do things are just completely different in a sense where you take measurements of clothes and I take measurements of jewelry. So, I always say, and I always try, that when I'm going to post something, I make it nearly impossible for them to come back to me and say, okay, you goofed on something. And if I make a mistake, okay, I've made a mistake, but I mean, I'm going to try really hard to show you what the product is and indeed what it is. So when I go and on Etsy, I think Etsy, and I really don't know as far as how much they take, but when I list something on Etsy, I always say free shipping. And with every other site and platform you sell on, if you go by a certain, if you do something, you'd be more in the algorithm. Does that make sense? There's a special
like they just prefer you to do, and like I know Etsy like strongly encourages it, right? Like they want you to have free shipping.
And I know when that happened, which was fairly recently, people got PO'd about it.
Really?
I can understand if you're doing something like custom work, that having the free shipping and being on like the preferred list, it's just detrimental. But for me, in my sense, where we were just talking about this, where I have maybe a 4-ounce item, shipping for me is $3 extra. So for me, when I already, price my item for like an Etsy sale, I'll already include that price of shipping into it. So if someone does want to, let's say, have them make a deal, I know I can go for a certain amount and still make my money back on that item.
So when you cross list to say eBay or Mercari, you're just talking about your sale, do you lower the price a couple dollars or do you keep it at the price to allow room for all this stuff?
I keep it I take that kind of highest mark on Etsy, go it over to eBay, because I'm always sending offers out on eBay.
True, there are no offers on Etsy, or not like in the traditional push a button to send an offer.
Correct. So if someone's like, hey, would you be willing to lower the price of this, of like a personal message or something? I'm like, hey, sure. Okay. And I'll edit the price and I'll say, hey, within, if you don't purchase this item within 24 hours, I'm going to be returning the price to its original sale price. Mm-hmm. Because there's been a few times I've got burned on it where they're like, okay, hey. Mommy, Dad's back. Hey, Dad's back.
Yeah, they never.
So that's something, but going over to eBay, I try to price to sell on eBay. He has the keys, my love. So Dad's home. Hey, Dad's home. So yeah, always take into consideration, and I do charge shipping on my eBay. I haven't got to that tier yet where they're like, hey, it'd be really great if you could offer free shipping. I haven't got there yet.
They do it on mine, I think, like if you want to, they encourage you to be fast and free shipping with it, which is 1 day handling time, I think, and then free shipping. And I'm like, I just don't operate that way. So I actually opted not to give in to their algorithm wants, I don't want to, kind of along those lines with the handling time too. I found I do 3-day handling time on eBay, but I 98% of the time probably ship the same or next day if it's after in the afternoon. Like sale comes in at 3
like that solid. If you have to, then I think it's just more stress.
Yeah. And I found my feedback is awesome because people are like, oh my God, the shipping was so fast. Because it estimates the extra days for handling for them. So they get it early.
I'm trying to put my head in the square so you're not being shown.
I know, but it couldn't help it because it's going to happen.
I love that. Hi, Elijah.
It's a family affair, everybody. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to not make everyone violently ill, I'm going to turn my camera off, and you can still hear my voice, but I'm just going to go into the bedroom because I am going to have to lift and go.
Okay. That's okay. Yes. We are repositioning. Yeah. So I found that's actually helpful for me is to give 3-day handling time, which I feel like is completely reasonable. Then I always shoot either the same or the next day. And I'd say the majority of my feedback mentions the shipping speed being so fast or whatever. And a couple reviews on Mercari have said that too, even though there is no handling time on Mercari. Or it's like a week or something. But anyway, I found that very helpful. Yeah, I'm not really giving in to the eBay algorithm at that point. Oh, hey, you're back. So yeah, that's what I do and have found it successful to surprise buyers with how fast it is.
Yeah, and I don't want to say I get offended, but I'm like, when someone, especially during like the Christmas time, when someone gives you a bad review, because your shipping was so slow, it had nothing to do with you. And again, I'm really sorry for the vertigo I may be causing. Nothing to do with you. And all of your other feedback says, "Hey, fast shipping."
Right. And then it's the notorious slowdown time for the post office. And they're like, you are horrible. It's like, it's not my fault.
Now, as of today, I have not received my item in the mall.
Okay, and change. Nothing I can do. Yeah.
Exactly.
And things are still kind of slow. It's not all the way better.
No, it's not. And that's, I was talking to literally my post person about it yesterday. And I was saying, how she has people yell at her because of it. Just no control of the situation. She was telling me literally that I would be so upset with her. And I'm like, dude, I get it. I'm not upset. I'm not, whatever. But she was saying, we just go and we just take all of our items and we just toss it into this bin and then it gets scanned. At least in my area, that's what happens. So, there's that.
Do you have an update on your performance from yesterday?
No. And I was talking to my husband about it. And for those to clue into the situation, I brought out a brown paper bag because recycling, right? Full of my postage for items that I sold over the weekend. I put it on my step by my front door. It had been 2 days. I had put in 2 requests to the post office. No one had came. So I figured either there was something that I wasn't doing on my part to give them the mail. My husband works during the day, so I can't just go and head over to the post office to drop off my items. Anyways, when the lady came and knocked on my door, mail lady, the items had already been taken. And I thought, she's coming back to pick up more items because maybe there's more. And she's like, no, I didn't pick it up. And then I got a knock on my door again today, and it was another post lady. And she said, you have items to pick up. So something's happening where they're getting odd things to get. So it was over $200 worth of items if they do end up missing. And I really don't know what to do. It's my fault. obviously.
I mean, I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. Someone clearly stole them or like took them that wasn't supposed to or something.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, I should have been a little bit more.
And I've never done a pickup because I live in an apartment, so I've never had them like requested a porch pickup. But I would, if I did live in a house or something, I would put them on the porch. I would leave them outside for them to pick up. I wouldn't expect them to be like, hey, knock on the door unless you tell them to.
Right. So there's a few options when you do to have the postal pickup, and you do have to and it's not like so far in advance that it would be a complicated thing. It's just, you can do it the night before, tell them how many parcels you need to pick up and how much the poundage is. You can choose where it's at. So clear as day, they have a paper printed out and saying, this is the location of the items, or knock on the door. I had so many at a certain point, bags full, that we were like, I don't feel comfortable just leaving them outside anymore and waiting, because our mail people sometimes don't come until 7. We're on an auxiliary route. So we get different people all the time. Just as soon as we get someone that like catches the groove and like knows I'm coming by with the some other person rolls in, and we're like, no. But, it is what it is, but you have the option to say knock on the door. Man.
Wow, man, I'm so sorry. Like, that is just really unfortunate. If someone really is out there that like porch pirated an outgoing mail, not even incoming like Amazon packages or something.
It is what it is. Like, I live on a thoroughfare. We do have a lot of homeless people that drive by, but we have the same people that go by, and within that time that the mail person would have came and picked it up, they were doing yard maintenance across the street. So I'm wondering,
maybe someone's there. Yeah.
What had happened. I'm not saying they took it at all. I'm just saying maybe they saw something. And when everything transpired, I didn't have the chance to go over there and talk to them about it. Say, hey, did you see anything? But my husband was saying, it may work, it may not, but give it a few days, because you can refund people all this money and then end up getting their money back, or getting their product.
Like, remember I was telling you yesterday, I guess, that like sometimes my Poshmark packages take a few days to get entered into the system. So hopefully they find their way into the mail Borg and they get scanned. Yeah. Or
else that would suck. But I don't really know. But man, if something can happen, something happens.
Yeah, man. No, that is just so unfortunate. But keep us posted.
It just goes to show you that, as far as listing goes, it's a whole process. Something can go wrong that's completely out of your control, and it's such a specific issue.
Yeah. Crazy, man. Well,
yeah. So back to the main thing, which is listing. Let's talk more about how we started, I guess, listing. We both share the same kind of thing where we both started on Poshmark. How do you feel now with all the sites that you sell on?
eBay is my favorite for sure. I make way more sales on eBay than I do on Poshmark. So 2020 was my first full entire year on eBay, and I had my stats or whatever on the top of my head at the end of the year, but I think it was like 50 to 75% of my sales came from eBay alone, and Poshmark, Mercari, and basically random YouTube auctions were the other, half to quarter. So eBay's my fave.
For sure. I was so afraid for the longest time, and I'm not shy to say it. It's because the items that I've purchased from wasn't worth what I paid for them on eBay. And it's just the having to be like, hey, dude, really?
This isn't
yeah. I am not a person of confrontation. I like to stay in my bubble. and just be honest. And when someone tries to okey doke me, I literally cannot.
I'm the same, like, yeah. And I had a very bad eBay experience, but this was like back in the 90s, like when I was like a kid and I tried to buy some like Game Boy stuff off of eBay or something. And I don't remember what happened, but I remember it was bad. And then like now, 2 years ago when I started reselling, I was like, ooh, I don't want to go into eBay because like that one experience years ago.
The same thing. I had, we were in like a transitional period, my husband and I, where we're like, you know what, we're going to take this serious because primarily, for those of you who didn't know, I started out just selling on YouTube. I would go around different sites or different people's channels, and I would sell just on YouTube. So in 2020, primarily a lot of my income came from PayPal, because I PayPal, the invoices and everything, PayPal fees along those lines. It wasn't until probably, October, that I started to be like, you know what, let's get crazy and let's start cross-posting and putting it on eBay. And it was Bolo Buddies, Courtney, who had recommended to me to cross-post and get serious because she said, and it always sticks with me, people who sell on eBay have eBay money. People who sell on Poshmark have Poshmark money, and so on and so forth. So you can post an item on, one location and it never sells. Post it to a second location and it could sell immediately. You never. Right. So that's why I love the idea of cross-posting and putting yourself out there.
Same with that, like that conditioner that I was sharing at the beginning, like that sold on Poshmark. I would not have expected that. So you got to make sure you're putting your items on as many platforms as you find feasible for your business model. Don't overwhelm yourself and like not be able to keep up, but like you never know where your buyer is.
100% right. And going back to talking about eBay and preferred shipping and things along those lines, I only ship in the US on my Etsy. eBay's another place that has like the global hubs, or you can ship, globally. I do. I tend to get a lot of people who send me offers and they say, I can only go this low because my shipping is outrageous. And I'm like, well,
that's not gonna work for me. Sorry.
That don't make me no money. So, and it's not always about that. Sometimes you just want to like get a product out of here. You're like, okay, this is a bad. Just leave my house.
Someone take this.
Yes. And in other cases, obviously, you invested your money, so something's got to come out of it.
You want your money.
So that's something to take into consideration too. Are you willing to ship globally? What do you do?
I hopped into the global shipping program on eBay, and I actually had 2 international sales recently, like one last week, and I think the one week before that. First time to Japan and first time to Poland. Usually it's like Canada. Like that's a pretty common one. But yeah, I got some. I've had a couple in Europe, like I think I've maybe had a couple in the Netherlands actually. So that like weird. Yeah. But it's cool. I do have restrictions. I don't ship to every single country. I turn off like some that I just don't get good vibes from. And yeah, I don't know why. I guess there's not much reason to it. But yeah, most countries though I ship to, and I think it's great because especially with the global shipping, you can ship a couple different ways internationally on eBay, like global shipping or not. And global shipping is great because you are only buying the label to the domestic shipping hub in the United States, which for me, the closest one is like Kentucky. I don't know if there's others around there's maybe one in New York and one in Kentucky. And so most of my items, I just pay for the domestic shipping. So when you go and buy your label on eBay, it's just the like $4. And then the buyer's already paid. You never see that money. They pay customs fees and other shipping to get it overseas to them. I've also when I was brand new, I didn't know about global shipping. And so I was just doing like international standard delivery or something. And that's where you're paying like the full postage price. And if you have your shipping set up a certain way, it's always based off of weight. And so when they bought your item, you better have had the accurate weight in there, especially overseas. It doubles quickly. Like, you know, if you're like 1 ounce over, it's like double the price.
Yeah, I can't believe it sometimes. It's just so crazy. It literally is. And I ship a lot to a lot of some of my YouTube sales. I do ship to Canada. Hey, Carly. And a couple of other people, to be completely honest, there's a couple of other, into Spain, Singapore. Love my global people. But I completely forgot what I was going to say about, I was doing PayPal. I was doing a lot of my shipping through PayPal. And if anyone's ever tried to print a shipping label internationally on PayPal, forget it. That's times like 1,000% of what you'd actually pay. So I was clued in on pirate ship. And that's really changed the game for me as far as how to ship and be more economical.
For everyone, you, your buyer, like everybody.
I mean, I cannot. So that's another thing that I had no clue about. And what's great is you can tap into that person's, not tap in, but you can include that person's email. So they'll get a notification very similar to PayPal, like, hey, your item's on its way.
Yeah.
Here's the tracking number. Here's this information. Or what you can do is you can copy the tracking number, put it into PayPal.
Right.
They'll have their tracking info on there too.
That's
so I make sure like they're getting spammed the house. Here's your tracking, yo. Like I sent it. Carly wants to know.
I don't live in a house. I live in an apartment. So, and I also live kind of in a metro area. I live exactly one block away from the post office. So Opie and I walk there pretty much every day before they close. It snowed here and it got too cold. So I just leave them in the downstairs. We have like a concierge desk, lobby person that handles all packages. And so I just put them in the outgoing pile if I can't make it to the post office. I prefer to go to the post office so I know that they're in the system. And not get lost in the middle. But yeah, when we move out of an apartment, I'm going to have to come up with a new system because I probably won't be as close to the post office either. Like, that's just convenient.
And like, there's the thing too, is like, literally go with your gut. Like, I had a feeling to myself too. I'm like, I'm just going to wait and I'm going to take them to the post office. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm right here. I'm going to take my packages out and I'm going to place them by my step. So like, listen to your gut. And a lot of those things as far as listing goes, pricing an item, go with your gut, man. And I always say price high. What's the worst that can happen? You make a sale, you send an offer out.
Send out a killer deal, right? Like, that's always what people like. That's why I started pricing higher, especially on Poshmark. It's kind of like when you like an item, at least when I'm shopping on Poshmark, I'm shopping for like one specific thing. Like, I'm looking for this pair of shoes or whatever. I'll find them all in my size, like them all, and then wait. Who sends me the best offer if they're all identical? And I take the one that gives me the best offer the fastest. And so I started pricing higher so I could offer at least 20% off in the $5 or the $4.99 shipping on Poshmark, because when you just get the 10%, you're like, oh, come on. Like, you can do better.
No, and I feel like a POS when I just send my 10%, but I send it on like a low double-digit price.
Okay, yeah, that's different because you could price things very different. Like, most of my things, are not as low. Right.
Carly, I have just this suspicion that they are.
That's too bad.
I think they're gone.
Well,
I may call the post office tomorrow, my local post office, and just maybe touch base and say, hey,
you should give them one of the tracking numbers just to see if it's anywhere in the system. Because sometimes I feel like they know more than what we get on the online tracking. They can see more stops or something. I don't know.
That, or I can at least attempt to go down to the post office. It's sometimes even easier to speak with somebody and just to be personable. You kill them with kindness. You may be upset, but you get more bees with honey than you do.
It's not their fault. Like the lady behind the counter didn't steal your mail. Like
no, and that goes with everything. Kindness is free. Like, don't even. And it's how easy it is to take things personally when someone messaged you or ask for a refund or something. You just have to remember that a lot of the things that are going on have nothing to do with you, but really what's going on with that person. So
right, and you don't know what that is. Like you have no idea what's going on in their life.
Exactly. Hey, Elizabeth K, thanks for hanging out. And of course, if you guys have any questions, doesn't even have to be related to this topic. Definitely shoot us a question. We'd love to answer it. Feel like we try to at least stick with the topic, but it goes everywhere.
Free,
like,
we see where the wind blows.
Yeah. We have to give ourselves a topic to talk about because
oh my God. Like yesterday when we're like, we're going to list. I did 0 listings yesterday. We were on for like 2 hours and I didn't list a single thing.
I just can't.
It's like we need
and then I messaged her after. I was like, hey, did you get any listings done? Like,
I was like, oh, you're hilarious.
Yes. So
of course not.
It is what it is. But same can be said with listing. A lot of times I see and read on different resources on Facebook, a lot of the different groups that I'm in say, how many listings do you have to have in your page for you to consistently get a sale once a day or something? And there's a couple of different answers to that. Depends on what kind of items you have. Depends on if you're reselling to just do a quick sale to get rid of that item, or just anything. We were just checking our numbers before we hopped on. I have like a 475 items on my eBay, Etsy, and Poshmark. I don't know about Mercari because Mercari is a little like,
yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. It's either hit or miss. People either like.
I'm trying to get to love it. Like I want it to like be good. Like I'm like, come on, Mercari, impress me.
Where's the gold?
I think it's mostly we both have the wrong items for Mercari because I've seen like toys and stuff that do phenomenal there, and I was like, okay, we're just not selling toys.
Maybe, yeah, that's the only thing. Maybe
we just don't have items for the market there or something. I don't know. I mean, we still make sales there, but they're just not frequent. Yeah,
I get a lot of low ball sales on Mercari. Maybe it's because I'm so new. And that's another thing too, I guess I want to add as well, is if you're going to a platform for the first time, and you do put in your info about you could put top rated seller on eBay and link your eBay. That way they have at least some background that you're not just some Joe Schmo that started selling. You have a reliable reputation on another site. So
right, yeah.
Consider as well.
That's a good point. Yeah. What was I going to say? Something. Oh, before I forget too, do you want me to show the rate chart? Since we've been talking a lot about shipping, it turned into kind of like a shipping and listing topic, but I learned this from one of my favorite clothing resellers. Her name is Heidi, and she just started a YouTube channel, and I don't care if you don't sell clothing. She's hilarious. Her name is Restyle Secrets. And I laugh. Like belly laugh out loud every time I watch one of her haul videos. She's just hilarious. Anyway, she taught me, she was on a podcast I listened to, and she taught everyone and myself how to correctly, or not like, there's no right or wrong way, but how to make the most out of eBay shipping. And so that you're never losing money when you ship an item. So she told us about this website. It's pe.usps.com, which is the Postal Explorer. So you go here, and then you go to prices and this price list right here, and let's just open the PDF. And so it's going to bring up this like giant, enormous document with like all these numbers and things, but you're going to go to the where it says commercial prices, because eBay, this is specific to eBay, by the way. So eBay has a deal with the post office, right? So when you go and buy your shipping label through eBay, you'll see, you know, it's cheaper than if you were to go to the counter at the post office and you know, pay for the same package. So that's what this commercial prices is here. So let's do first class mail. Well, you can just click on it and it will bring you to that section, which is nice.
Oh, yes.
So this is letters and postcards. No, it's first class mail package service. So those are, you know, things under £1. We need right down here, package service. So yes, wait, but that's not over. Let me zoom in because this is like really small. Okay. So what she said, which I found was mind-blowing, is you weigh your item before you list it. And in eBay, at kind of near the bottom of your listing will be a section to put the weight of that item. Just throw the weight in there and then create what are called business policies. And maybe we could go over like how to create those maybe in a separate episode or something. But they're basically like easy drop downs for shipping. So it's like pre-saved shipping information that it will be available to you in a drop down. And so I've created them for items that weigh between 1 and 12 ounces is one shipping policy for me. And then anything 13 to 15.9 is another shipping policy for me. But what I charge is based off of this chart. So the zones actually represent the distance between you and your buyer. So I am on the East Coast, Devan is on the West Coast. So since we are like the farthest apart from each other, our packages to each other are most likely zone 9. That means like they're very far away. If I were mailing something to someone in my own neighborhood, it would be zone 1. So you don't actually live in a zone. It is the distance between you and your buyer.
Whoa!
And then this is the part that just drove me insane. I was like, are you kidding me? So you don't know where your buyer is going to be located, right? They could be in the US, they could be in Hawaii, they could be in Maine, like anywhere. So if you have an item that weighs 10 ounces, it could cost you anywhere between $404 and $468 to ship it, depending on where that person is located. So what Heidi suggested and what I do now is you create the shipping policies that round up. You can break them up however you want. Like I said, I chose 12 ounces as my cutoff. So if something's 12 ounces, it's going to either cost me $404 or $468. So I round up to $499. Anything that is 1 to 12 ounces, I charge $499 shipping. Even if the item weighs 1 ounce and goes to the person next door to me, it's only going to cost me $3.01 to mail it, but I'm charging the buyer $499 so that I have the peace of mind and I am never losing money.
Oh my God.
So
wow.
That is my, and you can break them up however you want. That's how I chose to do it. I charge $5.99 for anything, 13 to 15.9, because the most you'll ever have to pay is $5.98. So I charge $5.99. And then some people are like, well, you're gouging your buyer on shipping or something if you do only charge $3 or whatever. But remember back in the day, and Devin and I were just talking about infomercials earlier, when there were infomercials on TV, there still are, and they would always have shipping and handling. And now no one talks about handling, right. But you're buying tape, you're buying mailers, you're buying all of these things. So I personally don't feel bad if I charge $4.99 shipping and it only costs $3 to send out, because that money is going back into my business to help cover some of the products I'm using to ship them their item and the time it takes to package it with care. So
exactly. Yeah. Dang.
That is my fun shipping tip for the day. But that like changed the way I list on eBay. And so I wanted to share that. So if you have items like maybe not always for jewelry, that's going to be fairly lightweight, but hard goods, make sure you're weighing them, because you might think that it's lighter than it is, and always round up so you get your materials in your box or whatever. Make sure you know exactly what that package is going to weigh.
Because if you opt into thinking, okay, I may be able to stuff this into a bubble mailer, the ounces over on a box are outrageous. You have to consider that. So a lot of times people will pre-package their stuff or have a box that is going to fit and pre-weigh it. That way you have that quick information in there. If you do like Kelly and she keeps a notebook of all of her specs, that's definitely something that you can have listed in there. I, however, do a guesstimation because none of my items, jewelry related, will weigh more than 6 ounces.
Yeah. Like you can see on mine, so I say green leggings, I wrote it down 11 ounces, whatever. And so I write that when I list the item, I know exactly what the weight is.
So, dang. But as far as that goes, it's just easy ways, however way you want to do your listing, your process, whatever way you want to start. It's always better to have more information in there, in your listing that you have on you. Especially if you do a SKU system like I do. I want to have all of those specs so I don't have to go back into my drawers that are in my laundry room and try to re-scratch it and think, is this sterling? I don't remember. Is this a significant? Was this labeled? Because people will ask you at the most random times during the day, is something this color or this color? And just like Kelly was talking about earlier, she's going to respond to whomever makes the fastest and best, offer to you. You want to reply to that person as soon as possible.
True, yeah.
So have all that stuff handy. And like I mentioned, I'll scream on the rooftops, make it hard for them to return your item. Have all that stuff out there so that they're getting exactly what they're getting. Hey, Renee.
Hi, welcome in.
Welcome.
So that's so true. I don't think I'm bad at it, but I think there's room for improvement, especially with clothes. There's so many, did I really show that it's been washed a few times and it's kind of fuzzy now? I get paranoid about that kind of stuff.
There's always, and if you just consider there's always room for improvement on anything, don't just settle. Yeah. Little changes can make or break your store. Always grow. Don't just stop
growing. Yeah.
So, do we want to talk about our next challenge?
Yeah. So I had the idea today, which I think is perfect in line with the listing. We talked about listing and stuff. I've seen a lot of people in the community, other resellers, whatever, talk a lot about Facebook Marketplace lately and how they now offer shipping. And I see people selling everything on Facebook Marketplace: jewelry, clothes, books, toys, things I wouldn't think would sell. It's just like any other marketplace now. It's coming up. And I think we should try and list some items and see how it goes.
I'm down to do that.
And since Finn was perfectly, we might as well use it, you know?
Might as well. I mean, I tend to use Facebook Market more for local. And to be honest with you, my husband is the one that scours it. It's one of our like nightly tradition things that we do right before we go to bed, or like in the evening time when we're winding down, we'll check the free section of Facebook Market. Similar to your garden, we try to utilize the Facebook Market. So I'm really excited about this challenge to be able to ship something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll make no sales, but maybe we will, and like we'll experience how to use a new platform.
What's the worst that can happen is we make some sales.
You make some sales, like I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So, of course, if you have any questions, if there's a topic you'd like us to touch on, we'd love to hear from you. If you want to leave it in the comments, you know, we like doing this. We can talk your ear off. At least I know I can talk your ear off about reselling. I feel like I always can give you a tip or something. And if I've said something and it's worked for you, then yes, this is working.
One person somewhere, you know, with one piece of information, that would be great.
Exactly. So please, if you give us some feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Ask us some questions if you have some. And like I mentioned, if there's a certain topic that you're interested in, because we're just going to kind of go down the line on things that, you know, her and I don't just talk about, you know, whatever. We talk about this. This is like what we talk about. If there's a certain situation that happens, you know, how do you deal with it? And, you know, whatever. The best place to get information is from someone who's done something like this before. So ask us, let us know. We're here for you. So
that's right. That is right. Well, thank you guys all for watching, hanging. We appreciate every one of you. We really do.
And until next week.
That's right.
Keep it classy. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.